Shabbat Shalom. It's pretty amazing that today we get to celebrate the beginning of a new marriage and my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. So Aaron and Adam, in your honor, and in Mom and Dad, in your honor, a few thoughts this morning. I have the opportunity every time we celebrate someone's wedding anniversary to ask them, what is the secret to the longevity of your marriage? What is the recipe? What is the secret to a happy home and a happy marriage? You know, as you can imagine, I hear lots of different responses, and in your own head, I can see the wheels turning. What's the secret? What's the advice you give? Don't go to bed angry. I hear that a lot. Don't sweat the small stuff. I hear that a lot. Marry your best friend. I hear that too. One person said, have a robust and abundant romantic life. Okay, those weren't the words he said, but that's what he implied. His wife gave slightly different advice. What is the secret to a happy marriage and thus a happy home? 21 years ago, my dad took me out for lunch right before Rebecca and I got married. And he sat me down and he said, Aaron, you know, your mom and I have been married for 29 years. It's easy today to remember the math and how that works. He said, your mom and I have been married for 29 years, and I'm going to tell you the secret to the success of our relationship. And my dad said it is 2 words. Anyone want to guess what the 2 words are? Yes, dear. Happy wife, happy life, right? The secret to a happy marriage. Now, I also remember my dad gave the toast, or one of the toasts, at my aunt and uncle's marriage. My aunt, now of blessed memory, she just passed this year. And you wonder where I get my speaking ability from. My dad was the one giving the toast. And Dad says, in a marriage, there are going to be days where the wife wants to go left and the husband wants to go right, so you go to the left. And there are other days where the wife wants to go to the left and the husband wants to go to the right, so those days, you go to the left. I'm still not sure if Dad made a mistake in his speech or if he was just following the yes, dear theme, but it seemed like pretty good advice even then. So what is the secret to a happy marriage? What is the secret to peace in the family? We read this week from Parashat Sota. Let me try it again. We read this week from Parashat Naso, of which the story of the Sota is a central piece. And it's a complicated story, and I'm not going into depth here, but we did go into depth in our Torah study at 9 a.m. And ultimately, the rabbis come to read this Torah portion as a central lesson in Shalom Bayit. Right? We know these words, Shalom and Bayit. Shalom, of course, means peace. Bayit means house or home. So the rabbis come to use this week's Torah portion as advice and wisdom on achieving peace in the home. And ultimately, our rabbis come to tell us that God is so committed to peace between husband and wife that God is even willing to have his name desecrated if it means achieving peace between husband and wife. That's how great Shalom Bayit is. So in this week of Parashat Naso, in this week of Shalom Bayit, I've been reflecting on what is the secret to the sauce? What is the recipe? What are the ingredients to a successful marriage, to peace in the home? And one thing that I came up with, of course, is shared values, right? Shared values. In my home growing up, our values were very clear. I remember very distinctly Mom speaking often about the importance of kindness and compassion. My mom is a retired special education teacher. And so not only did she focus on the importance of education within that context, but also about how we treat other people, recognizing the areas in which you are blessed and privileged, and going out of your way to show respect to those maybe who are less privileged or less blessed in the same way. Kindness and compassion. It was on those same themes that my mom taught me what it means to grow up as the grandchild of Holocaust survivors. Because you may or may not remember, my grandfather and my grandmother of blessed memory didn't really speak about their experiences to me until I was a rabbi. So it was really only through my mom that I heard their stories and the lessons. And Mom came to teach that, remember, no one else is going to stand up for the Jews. So we Jews have to stand up for the Jews. But she also taught me one of the central lessons of the Torah, which is to remember you were strangers in a strange land, and therefore we have an obligation to care for the strangers among us. Kindness and compassion toward others. My mom often taught these lessons by making me sit down next to her while watching Oprah Winfrey, because all truth came from Oprah Winfrey. Shared values. My dad taught me his values. Through words and through deeds, my dad showed me the value of hard work, of really being committed to what you do, going all in and doing your very best. My dad showed me what it meant to not just love Jews, but to love Judaism, and to celebrate Judaism, and to give your all to the Jewish community. From the youngest of ages, I remember helping to set up the synagogue for Shabbat services, volunteering, showing up for everything. That's just what we did. Mom and Dad taught kindness and compassion. Mom and Dad taught hard work. Mom and Dad taught commitment to Jews and to Judaism, the value of education. They also taught the commitment to the University of Michigan football team. I learned that lesson very clearly as well. Go Blue. And there's one more central value that my parents really came to teach, and that's obligation with love toward family. Family comes first. You do everything and anything for family. You say yes as often as you can, and you don't make it about yourself. You give all of yourself to family. And I was thinking about that as we come to our Torah portion this week, Parashat Naso, which doesn't just have that complicated story of Sotah in it, from which our rabbis derive the lessons of Shalom Bayit, of peace in the home, but it comes to conclude with two significant things. The last thing we read about is the dedication of the Mishkan, the tabernacle that came to be at the heart of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. And just before that, we read about Birkat Kohanim, the blessing that the priest used to offer to our ancestors. We know this blessing well. We recite it often. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God be with you and grant you shalom, peace. So what we have is a juxtaposition in our Torah portion this week of Birkat Kohanim, that blessing, with the dedication of the Holy Temple. We actually see that connection repeated a few different ways over the generations, because ultimately the Holy Temple was destroyed and the priests could no longer offer the priestly benediction. But our rabbis tell us that the altar that was the Holy Temple now exists in two different spaces. One is the synagogue. This is like the altar of the Holy Temple. So just as this is our Holy Temple now, what do we offer in the midst of our services? Birkat Kohanim. See it right in our prayer book. And the other altar that our rabbis tell us exists, in addition to the synagogue, is the Jewish home. The Jewish home. That's the altar. And not just the Jewish home, but actually the kitchen table. And of course, what on Friday nights do we offer to our children? Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God always be with you and bless you with shalom, with peace. There is always that connection between that blessing and the altar, that blessing and that relationship with God. And if we really zero in on Birkat Kohanim, on that blessing, we hear a certain repetition of a second person suffix ending That's in honor of my son who just finished Bible class at the Frankel Jewish Academy. Our second person suffix ending, Yivarechecha v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. That second person suffix ending. What does it mean? May God bless you, and may God keep you. May God's light shine upon you, and be ever gracious unto you. May God bless you with peace. It's interesting that the Torah doesn't advise the priest, doesn't advise our ancestors to say, may God bless me. May God's light shine upon me. May God always be with me. Wouldn't that be a natural blessing? God be with me. But that's not the blessing we're required to invoke. We're required to invoke it upon another. Because I think one of the central lessons of Shalom Bayit, of peace in the home, one of the ultimate secrets of longevity in marriage, the blessing of family, of friendship, is asking God to bless the other, doing for the other. We live in a day and an age when it's all about me. We live in a time when it's all about what I want, what's good for me, how do I feel, how does this make me feel? But imagine if we spent a lot more time focusing on what we did for other, rather than what it means to me or what I deserve. How much better of a world it would be. My parents modeled that for me every day, what they did for each other and what they did for our family. My parents never said, how does this make me feel? My parents never said, is this good for me? My parents really don't even say, this is what I want, which makes Father's Day gifts really hard and Mother's Day gifts really hard. But they always ask, what can I do for you? And in that, I think, is really the secret to a happy marriage. In that is the secret to Shalom Bayit. What can I do for you? So here, as we think about the secrets to a happy marriage, the secrets to Shalom Bayit, peace in the home, we talk about shared values and we talk about communication. We talk about love and we talk about respect. We talk about an abundant and prolific romantic life. And we also talk about doing for the other, putting the other's needs and the other's wants above your own. I think, by the way, there is one more lesson as to what is the secret to a happy marriage. And this comes from Rabbi Groner, of blessed memory. Early in my career here at Shaarey Zedek, I had the honor of sitting at the table with Lipsa and with Rabbi Groner when they were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. And I had the instinct even then to ask the question, Rebecca and I were still relative newlyweds at the time, what's the secret? And here I had one of the great rabbinic minds of the 20th century to be able to ask that question of. Rabbi Groner, I said, what is the secret to 50 years of marriage? Rabbi Groner thought for a moment. And here I knew truly sage wisdom was coming my way. And there we were seated together. Rabbi Groner leaned into me. And with that twinkle in his eye that Rabbi Groner of blessed memory possessed, what's the secret to 50 years? Rabbi Groner answered, surviving the first 49. A little mazel doesn't hurt. This Shabbat of Parashat Naso, may we really give thought to what it means to create Shalom Bayit, peace in the home. May we really give thought to how we create a strong and healthy marriage. May we share that wisdom with each other, with our spouses. May we share that wisdom with our families, with our children and our grandchildren. May we share that wisdom here among our synagogue family, and may we share that wisdom with my friends, Adam and Aaron, who are preparing to embark on what I know will be a beautiful and joyful, loving marriage, because you've already got the recipe, and now you just need to cook the food. Adonai oz amo yitain, Adonai yivorechet amo v'shalom. May God bless each of us to do what is right and what is good for our marriage, with the strength to put others' needs ahead of our own. And in that way, may God bless each and every one of us and our families with shalom. And we say together, Amen.